in the neighborhood. We have a muted Sher. Hello, Sher. Hello, hello, hello. There she
Hello.
be. There she be. Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, good morning.
Have you joined us yet? Are you in the land of the living?
Living.
A
We'll call it
grand
that.
rising to you. I saw
What?
this greeting. Somebody in group
Yeah.
said, "Grand rising, everyone." I thought, that's pretty cool. So I'll use it on Sher. Grand rising, Sher.
No,
Grand rising to you.
actually, okay, yeah, no, I'm going to avoid the whole grand rising thing. It's way overused. Way
Not so grand
overused.
rising. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's one of those things. It's like, what? When I first heard it, I thought, oh, well, that's really nice. Well, then I looked up what it actually is, what it actually came from, and it's like, no, thanks. I'm good. I'm just going to leave that.
So really, just see, Beena, now here it becomes handy. See what Sher is going on with Sher right now is Sher's body is experiencing some lag, right, Sher?
Side effects of medication. Yeah, there you go.
Right. So some lag, exactly. But we would just put it in, internet terminology. It makes much more sense. Everybody understands. You say, "Oh, my body's experiencing a bit of lag." They know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just a bit behind on things. The timing is a bit off.
So what?
Hello, Sher. Hello.
Good morning. So would heart failure be service interruption?
Would what?
Would heart failure be service interruption?
Absolutely, 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 absolutely. Yep, yep. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
So the vanity is just reflecting in some not so obvious way. So people are just trying to find some cool terms for some reason. Okay, I'm not going to mention that.
Yeah. So looking a little bit downward and patting the lower abdomen. Some have been known to reflect. Well, I'm not fat. My chest just slipped a bit.
Now, is that distorted reality, or is that looking for a different perspective? So
it's different perspective. That's all. It's absolutely different perspective. Yep.
Okay.
That line comes from the Asterix comics, and Obelix would say that very regularly. So.
Oh well, it almost sounds like something from Hitchhiker's Guide, to the Galaxy.
That would be a place where it would fit as well.
Yeah. There you go.
That book irritated me like crazy. So
Why?
for whatever reason, well, I'll say why. Because at the time, I have no idea why, but when I acquired the book, it was much ballyhooed and spoken about, and I thought this was like a serious work, and so I was very annoyed that it was this irreverent work with no nonsense in it. I was like really looking forward to something really sublime and profound. So.
Oh well, see, that's why I liked it. It's because it is so much about play.
I know that's its appeal. But like I said, I just had that association with it, and it stuck for whatever reason. So
yeah,
can you do? Before I forget, a question for you, just mundane housekeeping stuff. Have you had anybody from group contact you, message you in the last week or so, maybe 2 weeks?
From this group?
Well, yeah. Well, they might not say they're from group, just people that you don't know. We're reaching out to you as a result of your post because I've pinned them to the top. Not all your posts, but two ones in which you specifically mentioned, contact me. Whatever you let them know that you provide a service. I forget how you said it, but okay. So I've had those pinned. There was one before, and then you made another one. So then I pinned that one. But end result is, the pinned post includes a reach out message. It's about, I don't know, last week and a half, maybe.
Right.
Like that.
Yeah. And I know I did another one where, just reach out to me and let's just talk here. But no, I haven't. And if they have, some people will prefer to contact me on a different platform. So I never know where they're coming from.
Okay.
Yeah. I've received one request on Instagram, but that one is an old person who, previous person who.
Yeah, you've known them.
Yeah, it's like, no, we're not going to go down that road again. And Then the other one contacted me on TikTok, so I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, no, it's
Hard to say.
unlikely that they're going to connect you on TikTok if they only have seen it in group. I mean, if they've seen it in both places, all right. But I'm
Yeah,
trying to sort of at least get some idea if that if it makes any difference or not. But maybe just have to leave it there longer. So
yeah. Or sometimes I found in the past that it helps to, I don't know, refresh. Like I don't even know how you do that. Refresh the page or the post. Maybe I could go in and add a question to it or something. I don't know.
Oh, you can just go edit the post. That's all.
Yeah, and then it might just refresh it and bring it back up. So, because I know the
Well, it's
feed on
to
that
the top.
page.
So anybody who
Yeah,
coming to the group, they should see it right at the very top.
right. There's a what do you call it? The page feed itself just goes so fast
Yeah.
because there are so many in the group. It's just amazing. I can
Well,
read
that's why
something.
yeah. Okay.
No, I can read something on the page and then think, okay, I'll just put that in place. And then when I go to move my screen or something, it's gone. It's like, oh, well, okay. I
Yeah,
guess I didn't need to save that.
Yeah. Well, that's why the pin to the top makes
Yeah.
a difference, or hopefully you would think, because it stays there every time you come to the page. That's the first post that you see.
Yes. And then call to
even if you
action.
refresh the page, it still sits on top.
Yeah. But the call to action is at the bottom at the end of the post. And so that's not helpful. And I've been finding that more and more. And when I put the call to action at the bottom.
And do maybe is the call to action up top.
Yep. Yep. I think I'm going to have to start doing that because people,
and put it before your article.
Yeah. They'll give it, 3 to 5 seconds to read it. And if it's not really grabbing their attention, then they just, oh, okay, it's nice, but move on. And they never get to the call to action. So that's why I've been thinking about just putting those things at the top somehow, incorporating it in there. What's that? Okay, did I lose you?
I guess. Yes.
Okay.
Still, your sound is off. So just wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Yeah.
I wonder what that. Okay.
Your sound is still off.
I wonder.
Do you hear me now? I'm here.
Yeah.
You hear me? Yeah, yeah. I'm hearing you guys. I just didn't. I just cut my sound out. So.
Oh.
I'll put your eye up. All right. Let's try that. I was saying they don't read past the see more. So maybe try it on the post that's currently pinned. Just put the call to action at the top.
Yeah. Okay.
Very good.
Okay.
Excellent. Otherwise, I've been enjoying the video. Like I was saying to you, I've seen that video, I don't know how many times now, but it doesn't get old. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. I'm glad. And you did a really good job with reading it. I sent it out to a couple of people that I know. So they enjoyed it too. And
oh, good.
Yeah. Okay. I'm hoping that it would be kind of nice if it got, I don't know, plays and things like that. So we'll see.
I haven't posted it yet. I'm waiting till I finish the part 2, the third one. With the going to the island and the realm of mourners and all that, and then I'll post all 3, and I'll feature them in group and all that. So,
cool.
But yeah, with these things that you just have to put it out there and. I don't know if you post it on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, wherever,
Yeah. Yeah.
By the way, I put in the hashtags 100 days of intent, for you. But I
Oh,
don't know
cool.
what other hashtags you regularly use. I think I put in Sher Unbound as well. I'll have to go have a look again, but you can see.
Yeah, my usual hashtags are really simple. It's like Unbound. I try to pull for the current article, for whatever I'm currently posting. I will create a hashtag, based on keywords or topics. Otherwise, my standard ones are Unbound, and then intent, or 100 days of intent, which either or. Sometimes I'll put in.
It's a very general one, but 100 days of intent makes it specific to you. And
Yeah, it does.
Also makes it very specific.
Yeah. It's interesting though. I mean, because of the different platforms that I use, I've been trying to find hashtags that are just workable for all three, so that I don't have to keep generating new ones each time. So, I've got some that are standard and some that are creative for specifically just that platform. So
I need to go and update the description on YouTube. I never really put much in there. So when I do, then you can give me links to wherever you want people to go to find you, where they want to find Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, wherever.
Yeah, very good.
So yeah,
I haven't
something that I can put in the description of where people can find you.
I haven't
then
updated.
When you share the video and people play, because you can use the embed link or just copy link from YouTube and post it anywhere. You also have that file. I sent it to you, via the email. So if you're going to post it on Facebook, I recommend you upload it directly yourself, so that it's not when they click on it, they don't go to my YouTube. They just see the video, right?
Yeah. That's cool. Okay.
Yeah. I'll use it as any way you see fit. Not a problem. It's got all the credits and stuff at the bottom there, so it doesn't matter.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
When you do that, I would recommend you say, Sil made this video of my poem, so that people know it's not me reading my poem, because they might just do that, because it's at the end, Okay, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, that's what I tell people.
All right. Good. Yeah.
So
I enjoyed the reading of the poem, and I felt it came through really well. I was just saying to Beena, because I read the long one, which is like 15 minutes. So I just did it now this morning, and when you're doing that, especially if it's long or longer, you have to not only be reading the words, but you have to really maintain a deep focus and connection to reading the meaning and the intent as well of the poems, and getting the emotionality right, and pausing and cadence, and stretching it, shortening it, faster, slower, whatever. There's so many different variations to come across and really convey the fullness of the poem, and not only the meaning but the intent as well, and the mood, earnestness and so on. So yeah, it's quite a job. I've gotten a lot better because I've had, been practicing at it, but it's something I work on continuously. Like if I listen to some of my older readings, they're very flat compared to now. But compared to people who are, the ones that do audio readings and that, I think there's still a big gap. But
you think there's a big gap?
Noticeable. Well, when I hear myself, but we're always more critical of our own voice than of others. So, because I don't hear my accent the same way other people do. My accent to me is not an attractive accent, as accents go. So, I have that corrupts me. But other than that, when I'm inside it, when I'm reading it, then I feel, yes, I'm doing a really good job. So, yeah, it's interesting.
Cool.
But now when I listen to it, I'm able to listen without So yeah, it is getting a lot better. Yeah, I mean the more recent ones, I'm enjoying listening to my own voice. So yeah, it's come a long way. So yeah, it's pretty good. The gap is closing. Let's put it that way. It's not much of a gap anymore.
But I had a post that I put up. I don't know if it was. I think it was Saturday. I don't think I did anything yesterday. It's on Facebook, and Mary, I'm trying to get this video to stop. Mary Berman had left a response on it. And The post it, yeah, maybe it was yesterday, but it had to do with, you know, kind of, I was conflicted about, you know, do I, not conflicted, but it was just a word that I chose at the time for a different reason, about relationships. Because, you know, I've got, I have one friend that I communicate with on a regular basis. But it's really interesting because they don't want to call themselves a friend. And I'm not sure why. You know, there's like, well, sometimes I'm a friend, sometimes I'm not. And that's how they see themselves. And it's really weird.
Yeah.
So anyway, putting that aside, I thought, well, what about avoidance? Maybe this person is just very avoidant. And then I looked at my own avoidant tendencies. So anyways, in the article, where did I write this? And I was very specific about what I was saying. I put in here, oh, okay, I am conflicted about pursuing intimate relationships for myself. And then I went on to explain why. I put in there, you know, because I practice and apply power conceptions daily, I find that I'm in an emotionally and psychologically healthier mindset than I was in the past. And then I put in some of the things that I'm pursuing and working on. But then I also stated, you know, this is a lot of change that I've experienced for someone at my age, for anyone, but especially at my age and raising a child. And so I talked about the boundaries, you know, basically I was giving all the pros and cons of this decision, whether or not to pursue friendships. And at the very end, I put, I would welcome a relationship. However, I am uncertain of the fairness to risk the emotional health of me, my grandson, or someone else just to find out if I'm ready to share intimacy with somebody.
Wow.
So I put on here the message. They say that your reward is equal to the effort. So I set an intent that my efforts to improve my life through living deliberately unbound will be rewarded with the relationships of depth and value, whether they are intimate or lifetime friends. And so then I put in there that I was excited to see what the universe brings to me. Now, this is where I get kind of confused because I don't know. And I've seen 3 examples of it this weekend where people insist that what they believe and what they have to say is right. So 2 things that I want to say here. One, I really understand now what you were talking about sharing from the perspective of telling versus sharing with the intent of sharing, of sharing my feelings. Others. Yes, I do. And it really, really rubbed me the wrong way. So I had to be super careful and I didn't respond. I just put a like on it because it's like, I don't know how to answer this. Or whether it even needed answered, but there were several examples. And this person, this friend that I was telling you about does the same thing. They tell me, you know, that instead of sharing their opinion, they just tell me how it is. No. And it's like, God, can you just share? And I always try and give examples of sharing. And I've got a couple of friends who are that way. So I'm starting to see more and more how, you know, that big, massive, there's a canyon difference. This isn't a gentle difference.
Isn't that amazing?
Well, it is, but, and so maybe I didn't need to explain the whole article about what it was about, because that's a whole different topic, but it was Mary's comment that, that grabbed my attention after, and I went back and reread my post, and she writes, another person or relationship does not always complete us. Only we are our ultimate authority. When we are fully independent and free, we are open to others' energy and opportunity for something new. I'm like, did you even read the article?
Say again, read again what she said, please.
Okay. Another person or relationship does not always complete us. Only we are our ultimate authority. When we are fully independent and free, we are open to others' energy and opportunity for something new. Now, none of what she's saying is false.
Right.
But it doesn't have a damn thing to do with what I wrote.
Yeah. So it's just one thing to understand with Mary. Mary speaks in meme speak. and she's quite a champion at it, right? So
Okay.
so it's like there's no connectivity. It's just more or less, and then the algorithm inside her finds whatever comes out as a meme that's more or less closely related. Whether it's exactly appropriate or not, it's close enough, more or less. So
Okay.
this is how she is.
So
Everything
that's
she
what that
says
is.
meme speak. Yeah, it's quite fascinating.
Okay. Well, because I thought, and I really had to check myself. So many things came into play. So I
Yeah.
think yesterday was a lot of awareness. I was aware that, okay, this is one of those other situations of, well, somebody's telling you, not really sharing their opinion or their thoughts. Like my friend above, Effie, she writes, this is a tough one for sure. Well, I understood what she meant, maybe not everybody else would, but I understood what she meant because she and I,
it's fair comment.
yeah,
fair comment.
yeah. Well, we went to high school together, and both of us, we both ran away at almost the same identical time. We knew why too. Both of us were in the same situation, and so we've grown. Both of us have been growing through the years. So anyway, and I told her, like, yeah, I'm open to possibilities. And I was going to put the same on Mary's, and it's just like, that doesn't even fit. So meme speak, that's good. So my awareness is then that people are always going to want to tell because they feel that they are the authority on things. People want to tell because they feel the need to be heard. They feel like they're still not being heard. Is that right?
And they've been taught their whole lives that this is appropriate. When you help, you tell people, you give them advice.
Okay. Yeah. See, I don't like advice.
Doing a good thing.
Yeah. Advice rubs me wrong. Now, here was where I got stuck. Is it part of diplomacy to know how to respond or to just be good with not responding? Is that part of diplomacy?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, that's the key, is to understand where they're coming from, which is the essence of capital diplomacy. Mary's not looking to be condescending necessarily or anything like this. In her mind, she's sharing what is appropriate. Right. And that's just how she's trained. When you actually listen to her, if you, like, she was on Zoom and, there's no depth behind that. It's like all those memes. You ask the people who posted them, well, what are you talking about? They have no idea. Oh, but it sounds wonderful, right? They can't go deep. So it's just her inner algorithm matching as close as possible to that.
Okay, to be able to relate. Okay, I got it. All right. See, now that's good that you said that, though. Yes, I remembered the big part of diplomacy is to understand. We want to hear so that we can understand. So that part I got. I just was stuck on, are there times when it's appropriate not to respond? For me, anyways.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. We don't have to respond to everything. You can just say thank you.
Okay.
Even if
all right.
what the person has said is inappropriate. What am I thanking? If I just say thank you, they have no idea what I'm thanking. I'm thanking your effort to make a comment. Even if it's a crappy, ill-considered, ignorant, foolish comment.
Right. Okay.
Made the effort to respond. The intent is that's the real secret behind capital diplomacy, is we are paying attention to intent. Because Mary's
intent of the other person, correct?
The intent, yes. I mean, her intent here is to contribute, to provide something of value, right? Not necessarily to tell you, but to provide something of value. And this is important. And so, her intent can't be faulted. Its application may leave a bit to be desired, but Mary would be astounded at your reaction.
Oh no, my reaction wasn't a negative one. I was like, my reaction was because I didn't understand how what she wrote related back to what I wrote.
Oh, right. Yeah. That's just because, like I said, the algorithm didn't do a particularly good match there.
Okay. Yeah. Because I couldn't, that's why I was like, did you read this, Mary? But then I was just like, I don't know how to respond. And so that was my question, is do I respond or do I not? But you said, nope, you can just say thank you. And that's good. Because sometimes I always feel like, well, if somebody, to me, a post is like you're sharing something with the world, with your friends, with people who don't even know you. And if somebody is saying something to me, a post to me is like people speaking to other people, like you're in a crowd and somebody is saying something.
Yeah.
And if somebody's speaking to you, it's polite to acknowledge.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, those are expectations of behavior, which from diplomacy, we have no expectations. We regard everything from within the other's context, not ours.
Okay.
It's not whether or not it was appropriate to you. It's whether or not it was appropriate for them.
Okay, that one, you lost me now. Okay, don't.
Okay, so Mary wasn't looking to be appropriate to you. She was being appropriate according to her own inner calculations and formulas and stuff. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Very few people really make an effort to be appropriate within the bubble and the context of someone else. It takes a lot of energy and a lot of doing, and it's not a natural thing to do at all. And this is the skill of capital D diplomacy. We are looking at things from inside the other to determine our response, not from
okay. All right. So if I imagine myself like entering their bubble.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
Exactly. So Mary likely is going going through the internet, scrolling down the timeline, looks at Sher's post, reads a little bit. Complicated stuff. Well, what is it about? More or less, okay. And she puts her meme, and off she goes. Right. I've made my contribution. I'm supporting Sher. Whether it's probably didn't read your article thoroughly, in all likelihood, because it's a fairly longish article, and memers, they don't do much beyond the see more. That's it.
Okay.
So, but her intent is good. She's looking to be supportive, and in her mind, she is. So,
okay. I'm sorry. Beena and I laughed because of your la 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 la.
That's how people like that go through their timeline.
I think that Sil used to call her Queen of Memes. If I remember it correctly. Sure, you are not alone. That same vibe also for me. Though she is a very it is also very obvious that she has a good intent, but also that sternness, I don't know how to say that other than this.
Sternness. It is. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, from her words is so obvious that what's going on?
And I feel admonished.
Yes, and also that I was saying to Sil that some people do actually need that thing, that you need to actually teach them and you need to actually tell them everything. They don't care about sharing because when you share, they take that cueing as that, oh, you know everything, so I'm just humbly I'm just sharing my thoughts, and they start actually making it right and just your perspective on that. So because I asked her that, Sil, why it happens that when Mary is saying something to someone, they are like, oh my God, you are such a brilliant person and a woman, a wise woman and all that. And when I say that, they said, oh, I'm saying good because I'm supporting you. And I was like, seriously? Why this attitude change? Maybe I thought, okay, maybe some sort of idea that age difference, that they are not considering me, that I can have this awareness. Or maybe it is just like they don't even, I'm giving some wrong cueing. And so Sabina, it is actually in cueing. Some people do come from that point of view, from that perspective, from that dimension, where they actually teach everyone, and people love this. So sometimes some people just get into that vibe, sure, without having any bad intent, but they are the gurus always.
Yes.
So it's not about your article. It has nothing to do with you or your article.
Okay. Because I was just blown away. It's like, so you know what? Several things came about out of that. First off, the awareness that I was ooh, my little doubt monster is still kind of lurking around in the corners. And so I've got to attend to that one. It really is. And
Yes.
so that was a gift to me. Now, here's the positives of everything that she wrote. I received a gift because she got me to pay attention to, oh, there's a doubt monster. Okay. Because I doubted my article. I went back and I read it. And it's like, no, I was pretty clear. But because I did that, because I went back and checked myself after I posted it, that's where my awareness was. So that was a big gift. The other gift was it got me to ask about diplomacy. It got me to think about it. All right. How can I improve this? How can I improve my response? How can I improve this idea that I feel that there's a need to respond? So that's what brought me to my question that I asked this morning. It's like, all right, what's this about? So, yeah. So there's gifts. There's gifts in everything. I understand that. Trying to get there, trying to find them sometimes. It does take the perspective, I believe, of others. This is when co-regulation is awesome, because then I can hear your perspective, Syl's perspective, and be able to form mine based on, picking and choosing what sounds right, what feels right. Ooh, what's most appropriate for me.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
yeah.
And capital U understanding, which says me and my reactions have nothing whatsoever to do, or generally, or well, they don't. They have nothing to do with what's going on the other side, because I'm reacting and responding. So I cannot assume, because I'm annoyed, that the person was trying to annoy me or irritate
exactly.
me,
Yeah, the annoyance was at myself.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, the annoyance was all at myself, not at her. So maybe my approach wasn't, probably the best, saying, well, I don't understand, but I really didn't understand what her response meant and whether or not I was supposed to respond. So I felt kind of sheepish. I didn't know how to.
Yeah. So, when we deeply understand, it always helps. So Mary is the 13th child, right? One of 13. And she's the youngest one, right?
Okay.
So she went through a whole life with all of her brothers and sisters telling her what to do, right? This was just their thing, and it was accepted and okayed by the parents and everybody. So she was always treated as if she doesn't know, and when she did know. And she wasn't a stupid child necessarily, but that's how she was treated. Her entire childhood was, she couldn't say anything ever, and always everybody was telling her what to do. So then she had a wonderful marriage, and she had a really excellent husband, and she loved the husband, and he was great. But also, typical, usual relationship, and just by default, not as a negative. He took care of things and all of that stuff. You know how that happened with Larry, right?
Yeah.
Now imagine if you're in a relationship where it's like, the ideal, that everything is wonderful. You end up not being the fullness of yourself, right? Just by virtue of the person being there and supplying all of that, because they're doing it out of love. But really, if they truly thought it through all the way, they wouldn't do half of the things that they did for you, because they are actually depriving you of growing and learning.
Yes.
All right. So this is how I came to know Mary and meet her sometime after her husband had died. Paul had died, right? And it was cancer, and it was a mess, and hospitals and machines, and it was a long, drawn out saga of things. And she was really like struggling with this and suffering, deeply suffering from this, right? And so I shared the whole transition logic with her, and she wrote a whole long article, which I recommended she did, about her shift and change of perspective. She and now she sees his transition. He's leaving her early as the most profound gift she's ever received, because I pointed out to her, it's given her the opportunity to claim herself and be who she's always wanted to be, right? To be the one who isn't the one who doesn't know anything and the one who's being told what to do all the time. So she understood that his leaving early was a gift of love, a profound gift of love. And this was a huge deal for her. But furthermore, she started to, through our interactions, and she did some of way of impeccability, she claimed herself within her group. And she, in that group, she's a minuscule fish in a infinitesimally small pond, right? So
Okay.
she's like the queen bee in her small group. They go out, she's got a group of friends, they dance and do all sorts of things together. But,
Yes.
and she had people in that group who were like always complaining and all this. And she, through our interactions, she learned and developed the ability and the confidence to tell them just, hey, look, why are you always complaining? Like, cut it out. It's like, if you're going to want to be here, don't complain, enjoy this. And everything came right. And she has what to her life is just wonderful and awesome and good. And this meme speak of hers has given her complete internet presence, the inverse of everybody always telling her what to do. Look, I've got stuff to say, right? And it works
Right,
for her.
right.
It comes out.
Yeah.
It's not that she's like artificially doing this. She's
Right.
just acquired this ability to say things in meme. Don't ask her to elaborate on the memes. That's a different deal. But nonetheless, so Mary is like, everything is wonderful in Mary's life. I mean, it really is, she's very happy and doesn't want to do anything, change anything. Everything is all good. And her intent is good, but also, there's a little bit of her saying, look, here it is, and that's it, take it or leave it kind of a deal, because she
Yeah.
needs to be that way in her own private group, and also somewhat of a counter response to this lifelong pressure. I mean, even, well, like when her husband died, her siblings were telling her, do this, do that, and all this stuff. It's like, come on,
Right,
you
right.
come to the funeral, and now you want to be telling me what to do, oh, you got to move
Yeah.
back there and all this kind of crap. So she said no, and resisted all this stuff and gained her independence of being. So part
Mm-hmm.
of meme speak is her reinforcing her independence of being.
Yes, that I could see. I can definitely relate
So
to that.
we
Absolutely.
put in context. Is she always appropriate? No. Does it matter? No. Her
Well,
intent is
none of us are.
works for her. Exactly. And when we
Yeah.
look at capital diplomacy that way, there's not even a smidgen of being a little bit irritated or annoyed, because I'm looking at things purely from other people's point of view. How
Right.
what they do relates to me is not really of issue, because I always take it as good, because I know they're always trying to be good. Even if it turns out to be inappropriate, doesn't matter. I still take it that way. Now, sometimes I may say something to say, wow, I appreciate your intent here, but, it's thoroughly inappropriate. But, that's a rare instance where that is so.
Right.
And you have to have the license to do so. I mean, with just people in general, I don't have that license. But like with you or Beena, I do have that license. I feel, we have that relationship where we can say that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
So this is, in general, though, sometimes, you just got to let people blunder along in their bubbles and, trust the universe is going to pop it at some time. It's not my job to go around popping people's bubble.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
if they come to me and
Enter
ask me to pop
diplomacy.
the bubble, then yes.
Okay.
But they have to ask.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense, because I had been also questioning myself this weekend. Why, I don't know, but the word imposing came into my mind. How much do I impose myself onto others by what I write, by what I share? I was kind of on the fence about that. So some people, if they want to read it, great. If they feel offended or if they don't like it, they don't have to read it, and they don't have to continue to read anything that I write. It's all free choice.
It's free. Exactly.
Right. But I did not want to respond to Mary and inappropriately, just because I knew that I was the one who was struggling with not understanding. And you nailed that word when you reminded me that, that has to do with capital U understanding. I was not coming from the understanding of intent, of what's her intent. I was just going, why can't I get this? I don't understand where I went wrong. So I was doubting myself, which, like I said, that was a gift of awareness to me. To look at that and go, ooh, why am I still doubting? Well, it's
Yeah.
because I'm new at
Well,
this.
yes. If you really take this into a very simple thing, you reacted, and your default was to assume that your reactions are legitimate.
Okay. Okay. I like that. Yep.
And
Okay.
that's something that it's a deeply entrenched default habit.
Yes, it
A
is.
habit of assumption, which we have to, this is the task of capital D diplomacy, to say, no, sorry, my default reactions are actually, for the most part, pretty inappropriate. We get
Yeah.
trained to be inappropriate, not appropriate. So my defaults are typically to be questioned. So again, the one major default of capital diplomacy is whenever we are getting something from elsewhere, we don't go to our reactions first, but we go into the bubble of the others to see where they are coming from, right? So that we can
Okay.
respond appropriately. Because even if they are coming from a negative point of view, that they are looking to be superior, put you down, make you feel bad, whatever, and then you can still respond appropriately. Because the very last thing you want to do to a BMN that is looking to press your buttons is to have your buttons pressed.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
So, then you can respond and, come at it with, some like one technique that I find very useful with them is to respond in such a way that they don't know whether you got them or not. They can't say for sure if you actually understood that they were being mean. And like when you're trying to tease someone and they just don't get it, right? You can't explain your joke, right? It just makes it very lame. Yeah. So the same way, if you're trying to be nasty and somebody is just oblivious of your nastiness, you can't say, hey, listen, wake up here, I was trying to be nasty. You see, they can't say it directly. So it takes all of the steam out of what they're doing. It just implodes, it just collapses, it just vaporizes, it just goes away, right? And also,
Okay.
now, if you respond in such a way that they're not sure if you're just blissfully unaware and in a bubble of naivety, or you are being ridiculously sophisticated. So they just write you off and say, well, in their mind, well, likely they're being naive, but I'm not sure. Right? They may not even consciously say this, but what they do is to not interact with you, because two things. One, their stuff doesn't work if you are naive. And two, if you are sophisticated, well, then you're just dangerous. So then they just tend to avoid you in the longer term,
Okay.
which is quite ideal.
Yeah.
So
well, you brought it, but you brought up a really good point about reacting, and that was something that I did start off my weekend with, or sometime or another. I was thinking about all the reasons that I personally react instead of respond, because that's something I still am working on, and I probably always will be. That constant, awareness of, shoot, am I reacting again? And most times I do. And so, where was I going with that? My brain just slipped. I hate when that happens. It'll come back to me. It will come back to me. Anyways, the point was about reaction.
Exactly.
I did react to what she wrote, but I'm more pleased with myself for not acting on that reaction.
Yes, you shifted your reaction into response.
Yes.
That is something to really celebrate and take joy in. Yes.
Yes. Okay. I can do. Yeah. I can take that. I can do that.
Oh yeah. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. And that's the other part. We've been trained like at school. Teacher asks a question. What happens? People put their hands up.
You have to respond. Yeah.
Right. Well, you actually trained to react, because who does the teacher say? The one who put their hand up first.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not whether you've got a thoughtful response, it's the one who can react the fastest, right? So we're trained to give quick reactions. This is what we've been reinforced to do. And the first reaction to pop to mind is not necessarily the best one amongst all of the different choices. It's just the first one. It's like when you do a Google search and the search that comes up, the very first result, isn't always the best one, right?
Right.
And that's an algorithm that's actually doing the choice, whereas your brain, it just picks randomly from the amongst and says, okay, that's it. I got to pick one, and it picks one to be quick. So it's not even like Google where they kind of trying to make it relevant. It's just imagine, or if Google were to give you a random pick of all the possible responses, what your Google searching would be like. That's reacting. It's random. Now you're picking from sensible, more or less, choices. So, okay, whether it's A, B, C, D, or E, they all work. But the problem is it's just the first one. And the first one, unfortunately, seldom is the best one.
Oh,
Well, it's just because there are multiple perspectives. So the odds are against you.
okay. Give me two.
No
Would
problem.
you give me just a moment? I'll be.
Sure. No problem. No problem. We're not in a hurry. Right, Beena?
Yes.
Now, when you're happy with who you are, it won't matter who isn't.
This reaction and reacting, this is something, okay, of course, that's why I made that meme, that it was on my mind too. Um, we are, as you always say, that we are trained to react, because it's a should, again, it's a should nonsense, that you should respond. You should respond immediately. Of course, it's not a response, it's a reaction. Of course, it is going to be, because our immediate is that we accept that whatever is being asked or said, we should respond to that, and that mostly ends up, of course, in reacting, because as you always say, that not the first reaction is like the best one or the appropriate one.
Right.
But because we follow that oh, we have to prompt, and that is this should, accepting this should is actually giving up your boundaries, and also then it ends up giving up your self-trust, because you're not respecting your own self.
Yep.
And of course, some other consequences also involved into that.
Yep.
But
And
we are, from the very basic, from the very beginning, we are trained to follow all those shoulds. And reacting is one of the very sophisticated should nonsense we follow.
yeah. Um, 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 Also, and remind me to repeat this when Sher comes back. Also, we are trained that no response is bad.
Oh, yes.
When you don't put up your hand, you get into trouble.
Yes.
You
Oh, by
know,
the way,
I use this to great effect, right? This
yes.
understanding of this. So I would read, and put my book inside the school book, right? When asked a question, don't ever, ever, ever say, I don't know. Then you get into trouble. I would say whatever came into my head if I had no clue what they were talking about, but say it very earnestly. Then the teacher say, oh, no, so, well, let's say Leon, but no, and then they spend a lot of time correcting my ignorant answer, but because I said it so earnestly, right, that's their job, is to correct me and give me the right answer. But if I had said, oh, I don't know, why aren't you listening?
Yes, and that was my problem. Mostly I was in trouble.
I never got into trouble because I gave whatever nonsense came out of my mouth. Doesn't matter, boy. I just, okay, here's your question. And but I'm honestly giving you an answer. I really believe this is connected to your answer somehow. And the teacher's like, holy moly, how did you get that right? Well, it doesn't matter. I've got to give you the right answer. They never think.
You were the clever ones, Bill. I was
Strategy.
not.
There are strategies for naughtiness. Very successful psychological strategies. But that's it. Understand the psychology. Know your audience. Work like a
Yes.
charm. Work like a charm. Not that they ask me very often, but wonderful. So when you don't know, give any answer. That's the thing. But my point is, I'm emphasizing the point that we are trained to that giving no answer, no reaction. That's no good at all. That's bad.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, you heard the last of what I was saying.
Yes,
so this
I did.
is very key, right? Because if you don't put your hand up in class, you get in trouble, right?
Right.
So this is something very profound, and this we want to train ourselves to do, like Joseph. Yeah, that's really interesting that, Joseph came quite a long time before capital D diplomacy. And Joseph was training himself to not react or respond right away, but he was very sophisticated in that he trained his body to show his internal processes. So he is responding in a way, or reacting, but he's quite happy with people to see what's going on. But it gave them pause where they waited for his response, because he didn't want to just not say anything and then people assume that he's not going to respond, and then they start carrying on or talking. So they waited. He trained them to wait for his considered, thoughtful response. And that's quite a skill, of course. But, this is what we want to do in capital D diplomacy. Let others know, hey, you can even say, let me think about that. Ow, that's really interesting. Makes me think, I'll get back to you. Or something like that,
Okay.
Let them know you are thinking about it, so that they don't assume no response, because that's a negative for them. But that they know, oh, you really are making a thoughtful, considered response. And then they're quite happy to wait, usually, And even if they start talking, say, hang on. And then you keep working at it. Many ways to cue that. But it's very powerful. Very, very, very powerful. But, I want to make the emphasis here on the conditionedness of responding quickly and responding with anything, doesn't matter. And also, furthermore, that no response, that's not an option. Or at least this is what we've been trained to be. So we're going against those defaults. And this is a powerful skill, to be able to change our instinctual behavior. It's not truly instinctual, but it's almost the same, right? Because
it is, yeah.
To do it.
Right. No, I would wholeheartedly agree. And now this is something that I wrote going into the weekend when I did that. I think anyways, it was a short post to me about reacting to situations where you've reacted poorly before, i.e. for me, reacting to people's responses to whatever I've shared, or to me, period, And so I had to remember, oh, okay, this is about diplomacy. So it is one of those things that I spent the weekend being mindful of patterns, intent, deliberately. And it's not an easy task to do, like you were describing it. It is not to be deliberately mindful of everything that you say and do and feel in response to someone else, and then being able to keep your mouth shut during the process.
Yes.
That is hard.
Pause. Yes.
Well, that's hard. It's hard to train yourself how to pause. But see, the way I'm looking at it is the urge to react. It's not a need, it's an urge. And when I get that urge to react, that is the me of then. That's my old self. That's why I knew there's somebody, there's like that doubt monster that's still hanging around a little bit, trying to poke its way in, because, and I'm not going to let it, but I'm aware that it's there. It's an aspect of self that's part of me. It's never going to go away. I just have to learn how to work with it.
Right. So it's much easier to change the direction of a train than it is to turn it around.
Yes? Okay. Right.
I mean, there's a lot of energy to turn a train around, right?
Yes.
Even if it's on the same track and you want to just reverse direction, you've got to stop and brake, and then you've got to accelerate again. However, to change its direction, I mean, you go and you pull the shunt lever, right? And you move the little shunt, and that's it. You can move this totally, how many zillion tons of power and steel and momentum and everything, and you can actually change its direction with a simple little bit of leverage. So when we apply this concept to ourselves and take that urge as a train, right? The idea here now is to not say, oh, you know what, that urge to respond and to respond quickly. I need to get rid of this. So in other words, now I'm in a battle with this urge. I'm looking to turn it around.
Okay.
Tweak it and modify it slightly. Right. So the urge is to respond quickly, correct?
Yes.
Right. So I can just simply modify that to say, I want to keep the urge part, but my urge is to respond thoughtfully. Oh, very cool. Okay, yes. Well, I love my urge now, right? So now when the urge is up, I've got an urge to respond thoughtfully. Oh, yeah, it comes up, and Sher says something. I go, urge to respond thoughtfully. Well, wait a second, I haven't even thought about this. Oh yes, I gotta think about it. Right? You see what I mean? You're
Yes.
still gonna respond initially, but immediately just after you start responding, you say, well, thoughtfully, oh. Then you start thinking. But the time in your mind, you're responding immediately because you're immediately starting the response, but you aren't actually sending it or saying it because you've gone into thoughtful mode. So
Okay.
you're tricking your brain, you're kind of extending time. You may be in thoughtful mode for a week, but you're still in the process of responding immediately. It's just that moment has been stretched out over however long.
Okay.
Time is elastic for the brain. So all I'm saying is that, when we have urges, just tweak them slightly to make it an appropriate urge. Keep the urge because the urge is powerful. Use it rather than fight.
Okay.
Very
All
powerful.
right. Well,
strategy,
that makes
right?
more sense to use it instead of resisting it. Okay.
Absolutely, because now it becomes a gift. Oh, I've got that urge, and the urge to respond, capital R, respond automatically includes thoughtfulness, appropriateness, cavalry diplomacy. But you can add that thoughtfulness in there just initially until the habit is set. So it's kind of a trick that we use on ourselves, but it's an incredibly powerful trick. Now, when I shunt that train, I might shunt it onto another track, and that track has got a curve to it, and then another one, and eventually the train ends up going the other way, right?
Okay.
But I don't have to stop the train and fight it and all this. It's very smooth and fluid, and the train don't know it's been turned around. Yeah.
Okay. All right. No, I like that. I do like that. That it does make more sense to me to use that urge. Yeah, and I don't know. I didn't do anything with it. I just sat with it until this morning. And I haven't responded to it, and I probably won't because
so when
it's one of those things. It's like it doesn't need a response.
Exactly. You can go into my response is a power pause.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
It really is.
You are responding, but in your way, and your response is the power pause.
Okay.
So, for instance, somebody, I help them out with stuff, and they just little not quite connected to the internet stuff, So I forward them emails that they should get themselves, but don't, or if they do, they miss them or whatever. And then they said, it's a member of the APIS group, right? And they said, I'm not getting it. And I don't think I'm stupid. And they wrote a whole long email saying, how they aren't stupid and how they did stuff on time. And anyway, so a long email. So I responded and went into some detail. And then they sort of came back and said, well, I disagree with you on this and that, okay, it's not a problem. But they said, I don't actually quite understand what you're saying. Some of your language is sort of beyond me. Well, by implication, don't disagree with me if you don't understand my language, right?
Right. Right.
I didn't say anything. I simply power paused. Well, not because of deliberately wanting to power pause. I was just busy elsewhere. And, I wanted to respond, but okay, not now. I'll come back later.
Right.
And by the time I did get back to potentially responding, they'd respond, oh, sorry for me going off a little bitty.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense.
Because the lack of response was, made them reconsider their sharing, right? So it's
it does. That's happened to me before where somebody didn't get back to me right away. And so it gave me time to think. And it's like, well, let me think this through again.
Right.
And then I usually find out, and I don't like to call it egg on my face. I used to feel embarrassed about going off or reacting. And now it's like, no, that's something that's indicative of something that I can grow from. I don't need to, I believe anyways, I don't need to be so hard on myself for being that way, because that's how I was raised. Well, see, and being hypervigilant as a survivor, you are definitely going to react all the time. It just,
Exactly.
it's almost something that you don't, unless you're aware of it, you don't have full control of it, which was amazing to me. That's why I used to just go bananas over your statement of awareness is key. Because I used to think all the time when I read that, why didn't anybody ever give this to me before? I could have saved a whole lot of misery. But it's important though, for like you, I'm going to go back to that bubble, getting into somebody else's bubble. If I were to step into Mary's bubble or anybody else's, then I would have been coming from the approach of the intent to understand.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Not agree or disagree, but
Right.
understand. Yes.
Intent to understand. And how did I forget that?
Exactly. Habit.
Okay.
Habit. That's why
All right.
habit is our chief enemy. It's just habit. That's all.
Okay.
All right. So to add an extra point of connectivity here,
Okay.
to associate with it, capital D diplomacy, its core is about consideration. Yes. So
Yes.
you're being considerate towards Mary by going inside her bubble, correct?
Okay. Yes.
Also, though, consideration means different things, right?
Yes.
So when I give you a considered response, it's another word for a thoughtful response. Yes.
Okay. Got
So
it.
now, when you look at capital diplomacy as consideration, as in compassion and kindness and gentleness, etc., but also as thoughtfulness, it's like, oh, all of a sudden everything changes, right? So our default with capital D diplomacy is to be considerate, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in your initial reaction, you weren't considering Mary, you were just considering yourself.
Very good. Yes, that's right. That's why I said I was frustrated at myself because I was reacting, not responding.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And also just reacting from defaults. There was no consideration as in, where's this coming from? Context. Is this just habit? Is this just default? So when you do consider, say, oh, it's old legacy conditioning stuff. Okay, now that I'm aware of it, I can let it go and move on and apply other things. So we just have to realize that those old things, those old habits, they will come up because they worked at the time. They were useful, and the body doesn't, when there's an absence of ways to behave, it picks something that did work in the past, right?
Okay.
That's why replacement is so key, so that we can say, oh, yeah, new things that work better, and that I don't default to the things that used to work in the past, or at least that I believed should work. It's not whether they did actually work. Sometimes just the belief that they should work, that's enough to make the brain select it, right? It's
Okay.
that any choice that's more or less appropriate, like Mary's response, right? The algorithm just picks whatever's there. Same with you. Because you weren't in deliberate response mode, whatever came up, came up. That's it.
Okay. All right. No, I'm following you. Something else that just came out of that too, though, is also self-diplomacy. Now I understand it. It's thoughtful consideration of self, thoughtful consideration of my habits, awareness of, hey, you know what? You act this way because of this. So now we can, how did you put it? We can, what did you say? Shift the track? No.
Yes. Shift the train. Yes.
Okay,
Redirect,
all right.
rather than fight and oppose. Just slight tweak. In other words, yeah.
Okay, all right.
This is what capital diplomacy is, right? You end up turning the train around with those little tweaks, and they don't even know they've been turned around. Right? It doesn't feel like it to them. Yes, they suddenly realize, well, I'm going in a different direction. How did I get here? See?
Yeah, it's not going to break your brain.
Right. Now to do that to yourself.
Yeah.
This is key. Self-diplomacy is diplomacy with yourself.
Yes.
To yourself, right? It's not, there's a duality that's implied.
Yes.
And that's important to realize that, it's old self that's behaving, me of then, but me of now has a different point on this. So me of now needs to be somewhat diplomatic with the me of then, because me of then is just conditioned and habituated, etc.
Very much so. And that right there, when you mention duality, that describes exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
I've been for, I don't know, a couple of weeks now, maybe longer, but I can distinctly see my sensible self in front of all the other parts of self. And oh golly, it's just kind of, it depends on the moment, what person I'm going to be dealing with.
Yeah. So I would very much recommend you shift from sensible self and not so sensible self, which both are current, to shift to me of now and me of then. Because by implication and insistence, you are saying, oh, that's old me, that stuff is just legacy that's coming up, and they're ghosts. It's like, okay, no, you don't really have a power, it's just habit. And so now you clearly in your mind saying, I am not this, because it's a me of then, right? My me of now, not my me of then. This is very, very critical. So you keep emphasizing this, and you start to leave the me of then behind and say, you know what, you then, what was appropriate then is not appropriate now, and all of these other connectivities, which allows you to really use that. Because if you say sensible me, not sensible me, you're making not sensible me current, and you maintain its aliveness.
Yes.
And you don't
absolutely.
want that. Yeah.
No.
So me now, me of then, or some other, similar thing.
Well, no, that works. The me of now, and I can actually kind of describe the me of now, intentional, deliberate, unbound, confident. I can put down a whole bunch of words.
Exactly.
The me of then, the only thing I can come up with is terrified,
Exactly.
living
And
terrified.
reactive. Right. I mean, me of then had to be reactive to stay alive.
Reactive.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Condition, and that fearfulness, that's exactly what fearfulness does.
Yeah.
It makes one react. Yeah.
All the time. Ready to react.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, no, because everything was a threat. Everything was a threat.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm wondering.
But even when it comes to threat, reacting is not always a good thing. Yes, for the most part, you react and you jump, you run away. But sometimes you trigger the chase response, and now you get chased. So, even when it comes to fear, being responsive, thoughtful, and having the ability in the moment to, even if it takes that microsecond, to actually deliberately jump away when you need to jump away, right?
Okay.
It's a very powerful skill to develop, to transform your reactions to deliberate reactions. You can do this, right? You see the spider, but you choose to react. You can choose it. It doesn't have to be automatic.
Okay.
Very powerful. We have that ability to really have that microsecond of choice. Yeah, it's there. It's there. Time is elastic.
So I'm trying to apply in the moment what you're saying to say what I call my doubt monster. I call it a doubt monster because it really is a monster. I mean, it's just.
How about calling it a doubt ghost rather than
a doubt ghost? Okay.
Yes. Why?
Okay.
Because some people are terrified of ghosts, right? They they're freaked out by ghosts. But you ask them, what is a ghost? Well, and then they tell you, and they say, well, ghost is insubstantial. So how can it possibly hurt you if it's insubstantial? Doesn't matter. They're still terrified. The logic makes no sense, right? So this is the point, though. This doubt monster is a ghost. It can't actually do any harm to you. Only the idea of it.
Right? Okay. Yeah.
Right. So that fear of the doubt monster is an idea, right? And it's an empty fear, that idea. Correct?
Right. I'm just trying to figure out why it keeps showing up. But okay.
Now, in its negative form, the doubt monster is it pulls you down because you're taking doubt as a negative. What about taking doubt as a positive? When it came to Mary's post, if you'd reacted and say, oh, what the heck is going on here? This doesn't make any sense. Right now, you've got doubt. But your doubt, you've already trained yourself to say, I'm not getting this. This doesn't make, but as a positive, what am I missing? That would be your first reaction, right? What
am I missing?
In other words, you putting your reaction of doubt and not understanding, right, on you. Oh, Mary speaks in meme speak. Mary's trying to be good. Maybe Mary was busy and she's just, being a bit lazy, and okay, all right, whatever, right? So, but the onus is on you to find the appropriate contextual understanding. So now your doubt becomes a gift, yes, because it's making you thoughtful.
Okay.
Yeah. So rather than doubt being a doubt monster, that's why I said that particular doubt is kind of a ghost that doesn't have any substantiality. But to see doubt as a gift of thinking, a gift of thoughtfulness, a gift of consideration, a gift of discernment, a gift of pause, a gift of awareness. Oh, I need to change context. I need to reperceive. If I don't understand, it means I'm not getting it. That's on me, not on anybody else.
Right. Okay.
That
I
becomes
like that.
a profound gift. So see that as this massive gift. Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah. So now it's not that monster, but that magic.
Doubt magic.
Yeah. Again, see, we're not trying to turn the train around. We're just chanting it. We're just relabeling it. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That was a negative thing. Oh, no. That's positive.
Okay. No, hold on. I'm just kind of writing this down a little bit, just different keywords that would bring back a bell to me. So doubt then can be a big part of my self-diplomacy.
Yes, it needs to be, not can be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
In other words, if we don't have doubt, we have no humility.
Oh. Yeah, here's one of those moments for me. It's like, oh, I didn't even consider that.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, if we don't have doubt, we don't have humility. That one I need to think on for sure.
Yeah.
That's one of those ones I get to work through.
With capital D diplomacy. If we don't have doubt, if we just take things at face value, you're going to be a very lousy diplomat. Well, potentially, that's a bit of a qualified statement there, because we may be really, really good and have trained ourselves automatically to, see things and understand and discern. But until that time, we need to doubt what we perceive. Like in the case with Mary, your capital D diplomacy said, don't take it the first way. You need to doubt your reactions. You need to doubt your perceptions. Yes. You need to doubt your perspectives. This is the heart of capital D diplomacy, to default to doubting what you see. Well, when it's negative, right? Because typically, if we're taking it as negative, we're not understanding. When you understand, that negative reaction goes away. It's like forgiveness. There's nothing to forgive once you understand, right?
Yeah, that's true. That is so true. Okay.
So the key is to have used doubt to get us to understanding. Yes.
Okay. See, now that when it comes from that way, now it's not a monster. Now it's a tool.
It's a gift. Exactly. It's a massive gift, because now when you're doubting, you have the inherent motivation to question. And isn't this a part of capital diplomacy? To pause in order to question. That's what being thoughtful and considerate is. You're asking the appropriate question. What am I missing? What context do I need to see this in? What are their intents? What are they trying to do? To shift from your bubble view to their bubble view. And then also include the universal bubble. Yes? Because typically the universe will use somebody like Mary and her semi-appropriate post as a gift for you, which look at what a gift it was, right? So now, from the universe's point of view, oh my goodness, thank you, universe, thank you. Who knows? Mary may be an angel who did this deliberately and knowingly. We have no way of knowing. I will choose to assume so and say thank you, Mary.
Because honestly, it all goes back to the very first post that started all the ones for this weekend, which was all about reacting and responding. And that's what my whole theme was today, was the difference between reacting, responding, how not to react. Okay.
Exactly. So now when we look at it in the context of
I'll be darned.
And impeccability, right?
She dropped in a gift.
Right. Your poem came about from attunement. Right?
Yes, it did.
I started to share and it was unfinished, and your brain was like, whoa, you know what? And so this is my story: attunement, appropriateness, right? But impeccability said, say earnestly what you do, say the fullness of your truth, put it out there. It's fantastic, right? So now we have the same thing here. Just respond to the attunement of it and respond impeccably, and life is easy. Very, very simple.
Oh my goodness. See, in my poem, like I said, I still feel like it's not finished. It's the beginning. It's a part of my story, but that's what I'm writing. That's what I'm writing in the Mornis Chronicles. which, by the way, I mean, it is coming along. I'm really excited about the direction it took, which is a whole lot of my posts, but explained in depth.
Yes.
Very much like what I just wrote, because what you read, that's in my book. And that's it's an example of how I'm approaching a lot of my lessons on this path. The poems are being put in very strategic places, but otherwise it's posts, and it's like, I'll write something and here's an example because I wrote it about this. That's my way of personally sharing. Anyway, you'll see. I'm really excited about it.
Excellent. So yeah, just with your.
But it doesn't feel finished. That's the thing.
Good. Well, finish it. Let it come. Let it come. Let it come.
Yeah, it will. It will in time. So.
Yeah. Wonderful. 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 With your reading.
Sugar first thing this morning.
Say again.
Just a second. I was talking to CJ. Sugar first thing in the morning, huh? Okay. Yeah, you do something about those teeth, please, when you're done. Okay. Thank you. A sugary drink right off the bat. It's like, okay, it's summer. I'm gonna let it go.
There you go.
He does not see it. I cannot. Children do not understand that there's a difference between sugar and processed sugar. The processed sugar is just not good at all. My body reacts horribly to high fructose corn syrup. Those pretty much anything it's processed has that in it. If it's got sweeteners in it, that's what it is, and it's really not good for me. My body tells me right away. Yes, sir.
Very interesting.
Why? Okay, sorry. CJ just told me to get back on track. I shouldn't be talking about food.
Yeah. Digressions. Yes. Focus.
Well, I guess I just got told.
I guess. But nice way of taking the attention of you, CJ. Yeah, redirecting there. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Sil said, nice redirection.
Yeah.
CJ says, thank you.
Yeah. Nikki. It doesn't change the fact that your sugarness, whatever you was doing was inappropriate.
Yes.
Somebody else's inappropriateness doesn't cancel your inappropriateness, right?
Right. I can't eat right now, hon. I can't right now. I have to wait for a little bit. Okay.
Oh, is it part of your whole diet thing?
Yes, I have to wait for a little bit.
Okay, so I'll.
Okay. 33 pounds so far. I'm down. So.
Wow.
Yeah. 33.
Congrats.
All right. So hang on a second. Before we take, I want to just rewind a little bit.
Okay,
say again
please.
about the 33 pounds.
I am down 33 pounds.
Yeah, it's to be expected. It's like
I
want to change my reaction, in other words, right?
Well, yeah, no, I mean, it's intentional.
What's the big deal? This is like normal. It's like, you come up and you might as well be telling me the sun rose this morning. Well, yeah.
Well, okay. No, I mean, because
hang on. I understand. I'm emphasizing in a peculiar way.
Okay.
I want to make this, it is a big deal, but at the same time, not to say to your body, it's difficult by implication, right? It's a big deal because it's happening, and it's a big deal that the sun comes up, but not because it's difficult. It's a big deal. It's a big deal because the sun is marvelous and wonderful, and it's natural, and it's meant to be. See what I mean?
Oh, see, I see it as a big deal because it's me showing me that I can take care of my body, that I can treat it the way that it deserves to be.
Exactly. The big deal is that you can do things, not that they are necessarily inherently difficult, is my point, or impossible. Because, when it comes to especially weight loss that's been not happening for a long time, there may be the conditioned belief that it's very difficult and hard and impossible and blah, blah. So it's like, that's why I wanted to change my response from wow, like wow implies that it's like some, impossibility come to be possible, to like, well, wonderful. Yes, that's cool. But it's like a duh, right? Okay. Yes. I know it doesn't share the celebratory mode of stuff, but it's important to internalize, to have as a part of your joy, to also associate that, well, it's just kind of, it's not that big deal. It's not a difficult thing. It's like, I just have to do it, right? And set the intent. So, to me, the weight loss is a consequence of that poem. Now, I don't mean today. I mean, you've had that poem in you for a while now already. Yes?
Uh-huh.
That poem has retroactively been true for quite a while, correct?
Yes.
The weight loss is a result of you claiming, owning, celebrating, and insisting on your me of now. That poem was very,
Oh.
very much you saying, my me of then is a ghost. It has no power to harm me. It does not actually exist. It is simply
Insisting on the me of now. That is a huge phrase. Just
It
that
is.
word, insisting on.
It is. And insisting that me of then no longer applies.
Okay.
Right.
Me of then. Now I know why you put that with your series. Okay, now it's clicking.
So
Now it's clicking.
I have to play the first part of the poem again.
This applies. Okay. Me if then no longer applies. This is just really cool. Now, here's the thing that I've been trying to figure out, and I don't know exactly when. I started, okay, February 13th or 14th, as member was when I went to go see the doctor, and she gave me that, hey, you're just not taking care of yourself. This is what I would like to see you do, right? Because remember I told you guys I was really concerned. We went to the doctor and she gave me about the information about the vitamin D deficiency and a few other things, right? And I knew at that moment that if I didn't start taking care of and taking seriously, insisting, in other words, that I take care of myself, that I was going to lose myself. That life was going to cease. So it was about then that I really got serious, but it wasn't until sometime in March. Something shifted, and I don't remember what, but something shifted. And I knew it was big, it was profound. I could feel it, I could sense it. My thinking turned, just things turned differently. So then in April, I don't know, April is when I went back in for my first recheck, and I started losing. I had already lost 7 pounds by April. And then in May, it doubled. So each month I have been losing anywhere between 7 and 10 pounds a month. Some weeks more than others. But it just seems like the more aware I'm becoming, the more is coming off of me.
Yes. The more you are insisting on the me of now.
Yeah, and it's true.
So Beena, I shared the link with you. I want you to play it and screen share, because I don't trust my connection. Because this is very important to see the video smoothly, because the timing is. But I just want to listen to the first part, and you're going to see how pertinent and relevant it is. Also, before we start,
yes,
this poem is a absolute total exemplification of capital D diplomacy. I was responding to a deep need. I might as well, at the time, I was in a long daily conversation with somebody, and it could have been you, right? And what we were sharing on a continuous basis was guilt and shame that they felt was legitimate, right? Now,
oh my gosh, yeah. I always felt it was legitimate.
They did crappy things that I would say, well, yeah, you should feel guilty and ashamed of it. But the problem was they didn't know how to get out of it, because they were honest, earnest, genuine people. Their integrity said, I did crappy things, I must feel bad, right? So
yeah,
I was looking for a resolution. the complication and the capital D diplomacy came into it because I was absolutely not wanting to tell them anything. Yes, I was totally set against this. The fascinating part is the person in particular, they would all day long watch, Matt Kahn and Osho and Sadhguru and God knows who, right? And so they were always listening to people telling them, and they always thought I was trying to sell them my system, and I never was. I was just sharing. It's like, you take it or leave it. You don't have to agree with me, and they never could click. So I had this particular problem of communication, right? So it took all my capital diplomacy skills. So the poem is me going inside of that resolution, feeling, I might as well have been feeling you and sharing from inside of you. Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
So, because, I got sworn at by Donna once, because she said to me, well, what do you feel ashamed about? And I said, well, can't really say. And then I did share something. Well, okay, this. And it's like, seriously, so that's what you come, you really make me feel crap now, rather better that you shut up. I don't think she actually said that, but that was the end result. It's like, if we're going to invest in something and I put my $1 million on the table and you come and you put down 32 cents. I'm like, seriously, Sher, you could just say, I don't have anything to contribute. But the 32 cents is almost like, offensive, right? So anyway, so I'm just trying to make the point that, when you hear this poem now in this context, two things. I want to hear the me of then part, right? And how it's not appropriate, but also to see that as an exemplification of capital diplomacy, we can go inside others. And if you think of this poem when I first met you, as me sharing what was going on inside you to some degree then. Yes?
Okay.
All right. So Beena, will you screen share and play it, please? Can you right now? Are you there, Beena?
Yes, I thought that you were asking for Sher to play it. Okay.
Oh, no, I trust your internet connection. It's okay. Sher's on the phone,
okay.
so it's a little trickier to do the screen sharing on the phone.
Okay,
Yeah.
no problem. No problem.
Yeah. So screen share, put on audio, and then play. It's really powerful stuff. And when I was feeling them then, or feeling
Part
you.
1, the me of then and now, by Soul Sebastian.
So can you guys
An aspirant said to
No, I don't.
Yes.
Sorry, the sound is clear for you?
Uh-huh.
No,
Okay.
I don't hear it at all. Did you put the sound on when you screen share?
Yeah,
Yes.
I can hear it.
Yes.
Oh, okay. It's just maybe me then. All right. Okay, go ahead. Start again.
Okay.
I have been thinking. Limo waited. The aspirant looked away into the depths of self, the depths of the universe. I have been thinking about my past actions and behaviors, about those actions and behaviors which were less than desirable, about my actions which were silly, stupid, crazy. And I asked, who was it? Who did those things? Yes, who? Limo wanted to know. Earnestness poured from the aspirant. I cannot say, in all honesty, that it was I. The me I now know is not the me of then, is not the me who did those things. I am now different, a different person. I cannot relate to the person of then. And likewise, I can only look at those actions, those behaviors with a kind of detachment. And I realize they were lack of awareness, no more, no less. Could I do the same now? No, I cannot. I could not. It is incomprehensible now. For me, anything, even remotely similar, impossible. That was then a different me in different times, a different me in different circumstances, a different me with different awareness, a different me with different perspective. I am different now, a different me. I feel differently now, think differently, understand differently. My values are still the same. I was not a bad person then. I am not a bad person now. I did
pause, Beena?
foolish things. I did stupid things. Even maybe. How is this possible? Lack of awareness. Or
You pause, Beena? Okay. So that a different me then
Yes.
to now. Sure.
Yes,
I want
yes,
to
I'm here.
ask, right. Are you a different me now to the me of then?
Absolutely.
Completely. Could you do the same things now? Is it even possible?
No,
Exactly.
no.
Exactly. You can't. Maybe, if you're not thinking, yes, but if you're thinking, absolutely not. You cannot deliberately do those things that you did in the past, correct?
No,
No, it's not
no.
possible. Not possible. So when you really say, wait a second, it isn't possible, right? Yeah, it really isn't. I mean, you have to insist on this. It has to be a big deal. You have to emphasize it in the brain. That emphasize to say, could I do the same things? No, I could not. It's not possible. I am not the same person, right?
That's why acknowledging and accepting is so key to this.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And the then and the now and the big gap and the difference between them, right? Look at that part with different. I must repeat different like, I don't know, a dozen times, right?
Yeah.
And they say, don't repeat your words. Well, sometimes you do want to repeat your words because they are emphasis. And when it's pertinent, it's called epistrophe, right? When the emphasis is working, it's powerful. So that is an incredible epistrophe. Different me, different circumstances, different time, different perception. It's different. I'm completely and utterly different. And you too. You are nowhere near the Sher that was then, correct?
No. See, and I'm also not even the Sher that was then when we first started, when I first met.
Exactly. Right.
I recognize, but I also recognize, and this isn't like being negative. I recognize that I challenge myself with accepting all of the time. That's where doubt comes in.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But it's a positive doubt because doubt keeps us humble. I don't want to just assume that I've arrived and, I'm now suddenly woke and enlightened and all this crap. Hell
Very
no.
good.
So it keeps me questioning. So I see doubt as a gift to keep me humble and honest and to open me up whenever I'm doubting. Yes, I may be doubting whatever's going on, but doubt is also the same as being creative. Yeah. Well, because I'm drawing my painting, yes, and I want to be inspired. If I assume what I'm painting is perfect and wonderful, how am I possibly going to ever be inspired?
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So a bit of doubt to say, oh, can there be more? That's all that doubt is, to ask, can there be more? Well, there's always more, right? So doubt is when we see doubt as a positive, it's now connecting to the more, not to the less. Yes?
More. Okay.
That's all. We just shifted. We just connect that to moreness. Bingo. Wow. Oh, cool. Yeah, bring on the doubt. I love the doubt. It's a gift. Okay. Now, one second here. Now I want to do something else, which is, where is this now? Stick with me 1 second. Yeah, stick with me. Yes, here we go.
I'm anxious to see all three parts put together.
Yeah.
I feel like we should do some kind of, what are those Hollywood screenings?
Yes. So Beena, I'm sending you a link for the next thing to play. Where's Beena? Well, here we are. Here he is.
Yes.
Okay, so now that we have this shift on our ears have been shifted, yes?
Yes.
Our capital E ears have been shifted. So now we are going to hear the next share that what Beena is going to play with the shift of our hearing, the shift of perspective, the context of me of now, insisting on the difference. Yes.
Okay.
And claiming the me of now. That is the theme here, right? And this next thing that we are going to absorb can actually be called claiming the me, or claiming my me of now. Right. So the title, claiming my me of now. Okay, so please play, Beena.
Okay, just a minute,
Play
sir.
first and
Just a
then
minute.
play.
Yeah, it is uploading. Yeah.
Ah, right. Okay, no problem. No
Okay.
problem. Yeah, so, for you guys, I'm assuming it played smooth, but I still had a few stutters, but I know what's meant to be there, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, no, it came
Yes, by
across
the way.
nicely.
Oh, good. Oh, good. I really felt it deeply, and I really enjoyed watching it again. It's very cool.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go. Play.
The me of then and now. Limo's Sher.
Pause again, please, Beena.
Okay.
How are we listening to this in the context of
I'm using,
my me of now? Don't forget
Yes.
this. This is
Yes.
our center column. Claiming my me of now. Okay, here we go. Claiming my me of
Okay.
now. Please play.
The aspirant now waited. A long while passed. Then Limo responded. Confused, bound too tight, I made a decision to see if I could make right. I set a course, destination unknown, uncertain of letting go, exploring my shadows. Once I believed of losing my mind. Some said express, yet others, but not too much. Me only feeling safe to look, but never touch. Connections come and go, me in kind. Awareness raised, a challenge to unbind. Write and count steps traveled before. How many journals, pens and pencils? The numbers matter not. I create the energy for thousands more. I commit to the journey. In this moment, the happiness you see really is the unbound me. I choose to no longer sit with negativity. If you need to judge, I'll understand, as acceptance can be a challenge to comprehend and hold in hand. The me of then wanted to be you once. No thanks. I'm good with who I am.
Yes.
I realized me on this journey, my values, standards, needs, and wants. I choose no labels, only conceptions of self to assist with the describing of me. And on the path, there are overviews where once I saw difference between me and you. It all made sense. I choose because I matter too. Intents are sent to the universe. Unlock, unlearn, all in good time. I claim my connection without waiting in line. I know where is my path, so discomfort is fine. No matter how many times I wander off course, my intuition keeps me aligned. Boundaries set, my course in place, my energy managed to fuel my pace. Awareness, discernment, understanding are key. No expectations, respect, trust, and belief in my value I see. Thus my goodness, my moreness, my independence of being, now free. I think of Invictus, my captain, Walden and more, and I remind myself my words are as important, perhaps not to you, but to me, they say. There's no need to wish to be any other way. For I am enough, impeccable, unbound, deliberate, and also more. The end.
Wow.
Yes. Wow. Now, if that is not the claiming of the me of now and the insisting that my me of now has value, freaking damn it, don't you try and say anything else. Yes. It's like,
Yes.
bloody hell, if you can't see my me of now has value, well, then just, bugger off and get lost and disappear. Right? I'm insisting on the value of the me of now. I'm claiming my me of now. Yes, I am my me of now. Well, before all that stuff doesn't matter. Isn't that what this poem is saying?
Yes.
Sure. You muted, Sher. You muted.
Okay, yeah. So I was just over here going, yeah, I get it. Okay, so that was Yes, remember we just said, I'm not going to change it. That's me. Talk and mute. So.
Yes.
Yes.
But look at the contextual hearing. Yes.
Yes.
Just that when I said claiming your me of now, it shifts what you hear in there. And that's what I heard. And that's how I'm reading it. See?
Yeah, there was a lot of emphasis, and I know not, I know not everything that I express is always going to be that or as profound as like this piece, but there's going to be others too.
Exactly.
Where I'm able to really dig deep and just let those feelings come out.
Right. So look at my skills here. I didn't necessarily read the words. I listened with a capital H ear.
Okay.
To your intent. And that's what I'm tuning on, right? The words don't matter all that much. It's what you are meaning to say, your intent. And it's not just that you are making a statement. No, this is an intent that you are putting out there. Yes?
Yes,
your
very much so.
To claim your me of now. Yeah.
Oh,
did you like the way I incorporated the pictures at the end? You wanted both?
Yes. Yeah, I did.
It's like, the alpha and the omega, making your brain feel good. Thank you, universe. Thank you, universe. Thank you. What a beautiful. Too perfect. Too perfect. That's exactly what that poem is about. Making your brain feel good. You feel good, right? About yourself, about your me of now. Because you are saying, look, other people, you've been saying this about me, that about me, telling me this. I'm the one who's freaking choosing. I choose me, not you. Yeah. Right.
So it's more than just memes. I mean,
exactly.
I don't want to write memes. Okay. Right. Yeah.
Absolutely. Not only am I the one who chooses me, but what I choose is valid, substantial, more. Yes.
I just wrote something. I am not a meme. I am me.
Yes, I'm not a meme.
Yeah, there you go. I'm not. Okay.
I love that. I'm not a meme. I'm a me.
I am a me. Yes. I am me.
Yes. Me is like a diluted me.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Which is what memes are. They're dilutions.
Yeah, they are. They're
aggregations. They cliches.
Had Beena not seen that video yet, the completed one?
Oh no, she's seen it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, good.
Multiple times.
Yes, multiple times. Yes.
Okay.
I love this. So I love your poem too, Sher.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sure. Our editing process, we do lots of joint editing, Beena and I.
And that's cool.
In the process of learning editing. Yes. So the editing process is, okay, you read through whatever you've done. And okay, you find something that needs changing. Okay, you change it and you start again. Until you can go through the entirety without stopping to make a change.
I would never ever get anything written then.
but that's not the writing process, right?
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay,
now,
good.
It's
that's why writers don't edit their own work.
Correct. Correct. Yes. You got to write ugly, edit pretty. Different brain, right? The writing brain is not. The writing brain is actually literally your right brain, and your editing is your left brain, right? Actually, that's how it works, right? It's the right brain is the creative one. They perform and function differently, and never the twain shall meet, right? They cannot. They implode. It's like matter and antimatter. They cannot meet because then you have all sorts of havoc occurring. But it's not as long as what you think, because okay, you read through it the first time and you make corrections. And you do a general read through and you fix all of the stuff, right? And then you're sort of satisfied. It's when you've done, like, okay, you don't have to do it a correction and then start again. That's only once you've gone through the entirety and fixed all of the obvious stuff. Now you say, okay, I'm done with my editing. Then if you read and you stop, you start again. when you think you've done with your editing, and usually you've got 3 or 4 or 6 maybe times that you're going to go through it again, but that's really getting it like super perfect, because the first time you fix all the typos and punctuation and obvious stuff like that, sentence lengths and all of that stuff. But then once you've got it done, then you're now listening for meaning and intent, and now, you know, rhythm and pacing and all of the stuff. So it changes that. So you're more than welcome to come and do, when you've got a nice piece that you're happy with, we can do the same editing together. It's really fun. It's a lot of, right, Beena?
Yes.
It's all about nuance, discernment. Oh yeah, anytime. You're more than welcome.
Cool. I had,
it's a good skill to have. Yeah.
On that, on this piece that you put together so beautifully in this video, I had afterthoughts of, well, you know, maybe I could submit it to, I don't know, some magazine or some publication or something, to see if somebody would publish it. I would really like it to be, just because I'm not pleased with it. But I also don't want to turn it into some kind of flagship. I'd like it to be, I don't want it to lose its intent. Does that make?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And submit it under those guidelines. So, you know, look, here is a piece. It's a, you know, it's the intent is what's important. Oh, you don't have to qualify it, just share it. You know, if anybody says, say, look, this is, you know, I don't write a lot of poetry. It's a fledgling piece. It's a start. I personally feel there's more to come, and it can be much improved upon. But this is not about form and style. This is about content. This is about meaning and intent. If you felt me, because my intent was not for you to feel me, but for me to feel me.
Yes. Okay. That's it right there.
That poem is different from all the rest, because the intent was for you to feel you, and you were asserting and insisting on claiming yourself, your me of now, and letting go of the me of then. That's the theme in that poem, right?
Yes. Yes.
That
Yes.
insistence, that claiming of me of now and letting go of me of then. This is very, very important, because this is the theme. This is the larger category that we're in, right? The first part. I mean, it's part of part one. Part one is all about the me of then and now. And this is a big deal for Sher, to claim her me of now and really see that me of then, not just as a past, but as a ghost, as an insubstantiality, as an irrelevancy, right? The me of then is no longer relevant. Yes?
Yes. Strangely enough, I did have that thought this morning, and I don't know why. I get strange thoughts when I'm brushing my hair. Beena, are you the same way? You think a lot when you're brushing your hair?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So
I was brushing my kettle dancing thoughts.
Okay. Well, I was brushing my hair this morning, and it's like how different I am. It's like I am and I did, before we even started this conversation, my thought was, everything feels different day by day. Things just feel different. Nothing feels the same as it did yesterday. And I'm constantly aware that I'm always changing, but I'm not changing in a backwards way. I'm just always moving forward.
Yes.
And I'm not always going to get it right. I don't like that word. It's not going to come out as I had expected, because that's the problem. I don't want expectations. I would just like to allow things to be as they are, as they're supposed to be. So
you're also exemplifying that physically.
That was the other thought. Yes. Now, if I were to drawing a picture of that wouldn't be very pretty. It would be basically my body melting, because that's kind of what it feels like.
Wonderful.
Where the thought came from was because this outer shell is melting away. Now, there's a lot of people who don't see it. My own family, they're really not seeing it. They're not saying much, but they don't see it. But I do, and I feel it.
So now think of, you said my body melting, but let's put this into appropriate context. That old body, right, is a ghost body. Now, if you go and look up pictures of ghosts, especially of ghosts melting or going away, getting sucked, isn't that what they look like when the ghosts kind of disappear, get pulled away? Look at my hands. I don't know if you see it, but you see how they have that bit of lag to them,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's like when a ghost goes away, it goes zoop, and it has that blur to it, right?
Right.
Isn't that the ghost melting away?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Right. So whenever you represent ghosts disappearing, becoming invalid, no longer relevant, or you acknowledge the ghost and you say, well, ghost, you're just a ghost, you can't do anything to me. What happens to the ghost? Zoop, it goes away, correct? It melts, yes?
Yeah, it's kind of like it
right,
melts,
so-
dissipates.
Right. So, but when you think of your body melting, not a positive association, but when you think of your ghost body melting, very positive association.
Yeah, definitely.
So again, we're doing that tweaking. We're just simply taking the same thing and we're just tweaking it slightly to turn a disadvantage into an advantage. Now this image of your body melting, it's the ghost body melting, because that's what it is. It's the body of your me of then. It's no longer appropriate. It doesn't apply. So like when you acknowledge the ghost, when you stare the ghost straight into the face and you say, yeah, but you're a ghost. What am I afraid of? The ghost just melts, right? Same thing with your body. You looking at that body with clarity, with awareness and saying, well, but this is not me. This is my me of then. It's not me of now.
I was doing, I did a breathwork session last night with person that I work with on just doing just breathwork, right?
Oh, excellent.
And yeah, I've done this for I don't know, probably almost 2 years.
Wow, very cool.
So, and the breath work is extremely instrumental. Well, last night when they came on, they said, I'd like to set an intent, because we always do before we start the breathing session.
Excellent.
And they said to me, they were picking up that that they felt I was not slowing down, that I was in a rush about something, in a hurry about something. Well, it makes sense now, because I have been ever since this. When I stepped on the scale on Friday, because I weigh myself every Friday, when I stepped on the scale Friday, I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen these numbers in probably 5 years.
Wow.
And yeah, that's a long time. So it was a big thing for me. But then all of a sudden I was like, okay, let's speed this along. How can I hurry this process along? Because now that it's started, I don't want to stop it. And I cannot.
Yes, you cannot.
I cannot.
And this is what I was saying. When it comes to the application, it's attunement and impeccability. You have to have that impeccability to be disciplined, to be tolerant, to be patient, to maintain your integrity, etc., etc., etc.
Yes, yes.
But now with the breath work, if you think of that breath work as melting the ghost, incredibly powerful.
Hey, that's pretty cool.
It's fantastic. Breath work is a powerful, powerful, powerful tool, right? So when, especially when with breath work, the intent has to be very, very, very deliberate, right? So, but breath in terms of melting ghosts is perfect instrument, because breath is, it's in the realm of ghosts, right? It's the same thing. You're using that mechanism, because you can't affect the unreal or the insubstantial, like spirit stuff with physical stuff. It doesn't work. You need spirit stuff to deal with it, and breath is spirit stuff. See, so when you take that breath to melt the me of then, absolutely perfect.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Yes. Breathe it away. Now, I would absolutely recommend this, right? So you're using breath to melt the ghost, but you're also going to use, that's the out breath, yes?
Yes.
But the in breath is now doing the reverse of melting, right? It's insisting on the me of now. It's substantiating the me of now, yes?
Okay, hold on, I'm going to write this down.
The me of then, which has this ghostly present, it's replacing it with the spiritual presence of me of now, right? So you breathe the one away, and you let that go. You don't even feel that, you just let it go, and you replace it with breathing how me of now feels. Me of now feels deliberate. Me of now feels sober. Me of now feels impeccable. Me of now feels integrity. Me of now feels solid. Me of now feels independent. Me of now feels together, right? So you got to
Yes.
feel this and to breathe those feelings into the body. Yes?
Yes. Okay. Now I remember exactly what the thought was this morning. So you just helped bring it up because of what you just said. Okay. So I was brushing my hair and it's like, what is the difference now between now, why I'm struggling so much in the mornings to, get up and get my day going. And I was giving myself a little bit of a hard time about where's my organization, where's my management, et cetera. And it's like, no, stop it. I need to stop that because I am not the same as I was before. My body is changing. It's giving me some physical reactions, some indications that I need to take a little bit slower care, not be in such a hurry. And it's okay that I take my time because before my life was very, very structured and rigid. It had to be. That was how I survived. Everything ran on schedule. Nothing was, I mean, I would shame myself.
No time for appropriateness, nothing.
Right. And so now I have been deliberate about taking my time with a lot of things, including like with my writing. I don't know how many pieces I've got started that I just left because I didn't feel like finishing them. It's like, no, there's something wrong here.
Excellent.
I've got a ton of them.
Excellent.
And I figured if they get finished, they do. If they don't, they don't. Same with some of my drawings. I've got a bunch of drawings that I started and left. It doesn't mean anything about me. It means that I chose in that moment whatever was appropriate for me, just like today. I chose this morning. I knew that my energy was going to be way off if I got up at 7:30 or 8 and tried getting my day going. I wouldn't have made it, and I would have been hard on myself. Now I have to honor what my body feels, especially because I'm trying to retrain it. It's getting brand new food that it's never had before.
There you go. Exactly.
I'm taking away the toxic food that it was used to.
Right. So the weight loss also is going to drain your energy somewhat.
It does.
Because it takes energy to melt that weight loss. Right? So so understand that you're changing profoundly. Not only physically but internally, that takes energy. So be aware that you are spending that you are investing energy profoundly. So yes, you're
like that.
This is because you're investing profound energy into change, and your energy is melting the me of then and substantiating the me of now. Yes.
I really like that. Okay, so then you go back to breath work for a second. If I think of inhale, when I inhale, I can insist on investing in the me of now.
Exactly. And substantiating it to feel it. Because look, substance when it comes to spirit stuff is to feel, correct?
Okay, right, exactly.
So you are not feeling the me of then, and you are profoundly feeling your me of now. That's what your poem is about. Your poem is all about that claiming, that insistence on your me of now as real and valid and true. It's very important. And I would recommend in the mornings before you even open your eyes, do the breath work for as long as it takes, where you are doing exactly that you are melting away the ghosts, the feelings that you may wake up that aren't so ideal, and you replace them with the feelings that you do want to feel. Right? So you set your day before you get out of bed. You are feeling your me of now.
That's a little slightly different than what I do, because what I do now when I wake up is, get my bearings about me. I always have to. It's like, where am I? All right, I'm here in my bed. So then I usually just think of, okay, what do I feel? What do I feel? And I take my time moving. Just because if I don't, I know certain parts of my body are going to be really stiff, so I have to take it slow. So I stretch and I breathe after I open up my eyes. But then when I'm doing that, I also set my intent for the day.
There you go.
or intense, I should say, because sometimes there's many of them. So,
yeah. So what I'm recommending is before you even open your mind, your eyes, right, to claim the mood, the overall
that's
vibe,
interesting.
right? The overall attitude, mindset, vibe, energy, everything that you wish to have, right? So, because now whatever you do that comes next is going to be done from that perspective of your me of now's moreness, right? In other words, your mood of impeccability. So when you do a stretch, when you do shift your posture, when you're doing this all with the positivity and the sobriety and the sensibility attached. So there's never any possibility of complaining. Why? Because I'm doing what's appropriate. How can I possibly complain? It's appropriate. So it sets your day to be appropriate in your attitude, your mood, and your mindset. But that starts with that first deliberate claiming of that mood and insisting on implementing it as a deliberate action, because we tend to have those defaults come up during the night. Yes, the old stuff, right? So
I think so.
The first thing is very, very, very powerful, because then everything else that follows, you're going to be doing your entirety of your entire day from those moods and attitudes, from impeccability, in other words.
Okay. All right. Oh, did Beena drop off?
Yeah.
Oh, she had to go? Okay.
Yeah. I think she was trying to say so, but you didn't want to interrupt.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I'll message her then. I was just going to tell her, because she's a lady and she will understand. I don't know. Guys don't really get into the whole, size thing, but for when we share lady to lady or woman to woman that, hey, you know what, this is how many sizes I'm down, she'll know.
Inches are more important than pounds.
No, not pounds. Dress sizes.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying it a different way. In other words, inches or sizes are way more important than pounds. Pounds don't really matter. If you're not changing your dress size, you may lose, I don't know how many pounds. If your dress size says the same, so what? Right?
Yeah. Well, now but this is what I was going to share with you about that, though. Okay, so because we swim, fairly frequently here, of course, it's important to have a bathing suit that's functional, right?
Yes.
So, okay. So I went to go put on my bathing suit. What was it? It was like last week sometime or another. And the darn thing was just too big.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well,
you got to celebrate and emphasize these things for the brain changing emphasis.
But hold on. There's more. So like, okay, well, I'm going to have to get a new swimsuit. So, I'm shopping for a new swimsuit and I order one in, and it was still too big, the size that I ordered. So I had to send that one back. And then I ordered two of them just so that two of them that were deliberately 2 sizes less than what I had originally ordered. And it's like, oh my God, they fit. Well, in between all of that, my perception of my body shifted.
Yes.
My perception did. Okay. Now, traditionally, you've seen me and usually see me dressed in black t-shirts. Nobody really ever gets to see me from the shoulders down, right? Rarely.
Correct.
So black t-shirts, crop pants or whatever. Anyhow, I got to looking in my closet and I started trying on everything because I thought, well, if my bathing suit is like this, what do the rest of my clothes look like?
Yes.
So I started putting on all these clothes, and I don't have that many t-shirts and different dresses and stuff. And so everything that I was wearing was just hanging on me like a tent.
Fantastic.
Was my brain actually thinking that my body filled out these clothes?
Yes.
Because when I looked at it, it's like, I was going out in public like this.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it just kind of showed me what I was thinking that I looked like was so distorted from what my body actually is.
Yes. Body dysmorphia. Yeah, big deal.
That is a huge thing about, people with eating disorders. And it's like, oh my goodness. Right. I also feel like we need to change that term eating disorder. I don't like it. It doesn't fit.
Correct.
I don't know what to call it. I just know that
it's not a disorder. It is
No.
a limited perspective.
Yeah.
Right. So what happened? You got trapped in like either or the perspectives or just one perspective. This is the magic of multiple perspectives. When you look at your body from multiple perspectives, it's hard to get trapped in body dysmorphia.
Yeah. And I know how it started, but I'm telling you what, like I said, something shifted, something really big, profound shifted somewhere along March or April. I need to go back to my posts and figure out what it was because I want to hang on to that. I want to know.
I don't think it's anything specific. I would say it is accumulation of minutiae.
Okay.
Okay, so right now there's a grain of dust settling somewhere on your mantelpiece or your table or whatever.
Right.
Right now it happened and will happen again and again. You don't notice it. At what point does that accumulation of minutiae become dustworthy?
Okay. All right.
It depends, right? But my point is that these little things, they build up, and some point, oh, you suddenly notice, oh, this thing needs dusting now, right?
Yes.
There isn't a one moment that says now it's the cutoff line that goes from not needing to be dusted to being dusted. It's a
just,
big gray area, right? It's a big
right.
area. Yeah. So that's what's happened with you. The minutia built up, and you just noticed that, oh wow, it's built up, and that's what your poem is about. The accumulation of minutiae. To say, whoa, you know what? I now can say, I've changed. I'm not the same. I'm me. I'm important. I matter. I'm enough. I'm also more, etc., etc., etc. Right? You realized and recognized this accumulation of minutiae. Accumulation of minutiae is a huge thing. It's a big thing. Put in a dictionary of power. It's a massive awareness, right?
Okay.
We want to pay attention to minutiae before you notice it as dust.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because by the time you're noticing it as dust, it's already a problem. Yes?
Okay. Yep.
Now, dust now is, but when it comes to personal things and habits, by the time you notice it's a problem, that's too late. It's already a problem. The same, the dust is already there, right? So when it comes to personal minutiae that are negativities that build up and become a problem, you want to be dusting before you can see the dust, in other words, yes?
Yes, absolutely. Did you know what? If you put, oh golly, okay. If I'm looking at my 4 A's, acknowledgement, remember we were talking about how acknowledgement is actually this own system of itself. So if I look at acknowledgement, acceptance, application, acknowledgement, acceptance, appreciation, and application. So anyway, I'm looking at all of these.
Not acceptance.
Yeah, right. These have gone through everything I've gone through. Those 4 apply, every single thing. It just, and it all begins with going back to what you said, awareness is key. I don't know. It's just kind of really profound to me.
Self-curative.
Awareness is self-curative, yes.
Yes. So just to to recap, I want to emphasize on the breath work. It is a powerful tool for transformation. To physically feel, to implement these all of your dictionary of power. You want to breathe them into your body.
Yes. Transformation.
So that you feel them. That's basically what the 3rd poem is about. Which
really okay.
Yeah. To becoming your moreness, to feel it, to be as tree. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Seeing trees are important to me. Okay.
Yes. So all right, we'll get to that poem. I'm busy working on it. As soon as I'm done, we'll get onto it. Okay,
very good. All right, time for me to go tend to Mr. CJ.
Right. So what I'm sorry, that's setting in the morning before you open your eyes. The reason I recommend that so highly and powerfully, right? It's mood management in its absolute exquisite form, is because it makes you more energy efficient. Once you're in the appropriate mood, which is the mood of impeccability, right? The feeling of your impeccability, your claiming of your totality, your new self-conception, right? When you're feeling that, whatever you do subsequently is done with a completely different energy. You don't fight it. You're not struggling against it. You're not railing against it. You're not complaining, moaning, irritated, none of that, right? You're in complete impeccability mode. So whatever you need to do, if it needs doing, you do it. If it doesn't need doing, you don't do it. End of story, very simple. So you become profoundly more energy efficient. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the same things take on a different vibe, right? That's stretching. It now becomes a matter of sensibility and sobriety. Do you like being sensible and sober? Of course you do. So now
Yes.
it takes on a joy. The things themselves may not be joyful, but the application of your sobriety, your sensibility, your impeccability, your discipline, your patience, your determination, etc., those give you joy, correct?
Yes.
So your
Yes,
day is
they do.
transformed. Your day is transformed. Your day is transformed. So it's a very, very powerful thing to do. Before you open your eyes, set yourself appropriately. Claim your me of more.
I'm going to have to practice on on doing that before I open up my eyes. The reason being is because when I wake up, that's what wakes me up is my eyes will open.
Yes. Oh, okay.
it's
Well, then
like,
just close them right again, and then it doesn't matter.
okay.
Yeah, that's
All
fine. I mean,
right.
okay. So I open, and then you close them and say, okay, before I reopen my eyes. Yeah, because that's your signal. That's fine. You know, that's
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't mean it so super literally, but yeah, you know, it's before you do anything else, in other words. But immediately
Yeah.
say, okay, I want to. But now you have to deliberately close your eyes, which is great. So that deliberate closing is the signal for resetting yourself, right, into your me of more.
That
Not
makes
just
sense.
your me of now, but your me of more. Yes.
All right, that makes sense. Okay, that I can do.
Fantastic. It's really, really, really powerful. And also, when you do your breath work with the person, to have that intent to feel your moreness, to feel all of your dictionary of power conceptions.
Yes.
This is the point of your breath work, to breathe them in and at the same time to melt out the crap and nonsense, right?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
You're replacing your spirit, which is what breath is, right? You are replacing your spirit, right? You're transforming, taking one away, replacing. And it takes a lot of doing because habit.
It does.
Yeah.
That it does. I've actually learned proper breathing. I didn't know that we could actually that I'd been breathing wrong all my life. I just didn't know. Most of us walk around breathing through our mouths.
But inefficiently, ineffectively, maybe, yes.
Yes, yes. Oh, well, you know.
Well, if you're breathing wrong, you'd be dead. Yeah.
Well, you know, when you breathe constantly in this heightened state of
it's
almost hyperventilating.
It's ineffective, yes, and inappropriate maybe, but you know, it's still working. So
yeah, that's true.
I just don't care for that word wrong. It's like agree and disagree. Right and wrong, I try and throw them out of my dictionary altogether. You know, they just corrupt us so easily.
Oh yeah, that's true. They can. It's a
that's
habit.
That's the only reason why I mention it, you know. Just habit.
Okay.
You know, to listen to that self-talk so very, very clearly, and to be absolutely exquisite on the nuanced application of it, because the brain to your computer is a comma any more important than the most important word? No, it has the same value. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So your brain is very literal. It takes everything, that comma, put in the wrong place, changes everything. It's literal. It's 100%. So we have to be very exquisitely precise on our words. Yes.
Yes. Okay. I get it.
I love it.
All right.
I love it. Love it.
I do need to scoot.
Powerful stuff, sir. Powerful stuff. And that poem, celebrate it. It's a powerful poem. There's a lot to it. You know, celebrate it. Celebrate it. Enjoy it.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay. Steve.